Hey folks, Happy New Year! Today I'm going to talk about what gear I brought with me on my 2020 Wonderland Trail thru hike. Now keep in mind, when I did this trip it was mid-August, so it was fairly warm out, so I did not need any cold weather gear. I mean, it's good to have some cooler weather gear, but I definitely was not bringing gear for super cold temperatures. So first up is my shelter. I use the tarp tent Eon Li. This thing is super amazing. It weighs about a pound and it is super sturdy. Most nights I kept the door open to allow some ventilation so I didn't get any condensation. And one night I actually had a pretty windy weather and this thing held up super good. Some tents, when you have them in the wind, it keeps you up all night because it makes all kinds of noise and it kind of moves a little bit. But this thing was super sturdy, so I highly recommend it. The only thing that I do dislike about this tent is it is kind of on the long side, so it does not fit in my pack like this. I ended up storing it on the side of my pack in one of the water bottle pouches, so I just threw it in a trash bag in case it rained out, stuck it on the side of my backpack, and that worked out great. But you know, if that is going to be an issue for you, then this might not be the tent for you, but I think it's an amazing tent, and for me, even though I cannot fit it in my pack like this, I could fit it in my pack lengthwise, but I just chose not to do that. But that may or may not be a factor for you. Now with this tent, I did carry the MSR mini groundhog stakes. I know I've heard mixed reviews about these stakes, but they worked for me. I wasn't using them on super rocky terrain. I mean, it wasn't like sand or anything like that, but still, I was not very harsh with these stakes, so they worked out fine for me. They're pretty small and lightweight, and they do provide some bite for if it's windy out and you really want to make sure that your tent is staked down. And what did I sleep on? I slept on the Thermarest NeoAir X Lite. I know I've talked about this a lot in other videos, but it is a pretty awesome sleeping pad, a nice high R value, plenty of thickness, and super ultralight. Now this is the X Lite women's version, so keep that in mind. It's a little shorter than the unisex regular sleeping pad, but it does have a really high R value, so if you are, say, under 5'4", 5'5", or something, and you're looking for a warm sleeping pad at a super ultralight weight, then this X Lite is pretty amazing. So that is what I slept on. So let's continue with my sleep system since we're talking about my sleeping pad. Next up, on top of that sleeping pad, I use the Enlightened Equipment Enigma, the 20-degree bag, quilt, sorry, the 20-degree Enigma sleeping quilt. Like I said, it was not super cold on this trip, so 20 degrees was fine for me. I am a cold sleeper, so even though it's a 20-degree quilt, for me it's probably good down to somewhere between 30 and 35 degrees. I was able to sleep basically all nights with the quilt wide open, which was super nice and comfy. There was one night that it did get a little chilly with the wind that I was talking about, and I did have to clip on the bottom for that night, but I was still super comfy warm in this quilt. To complete my sleep system on the Wonderland Trail, I put my pretty little head on this Nebo Pillow Elite each evening. This pillow works great for me. Everybody's got a different preference though, so as far as pillows go. So if you're looking for a pillow, this might be good for you, the Nebo Pillow Elite. But try all kinds of different pillows till you find the right one that works for you. If you want more information about what sleep system I use, as far as ultralight sleep system, I did do a video on that just a few weeks ago, so you can click on that video. I don't know where the heck it shows up, but it's up there somewhere. Go ahead and check that out. For water filtration, I used the Sawyer Mini Squeeze system. It is the mini, not the regular, although I would highly recommend the regular version as well. So I use that with just the regular squeeze pouch that it comes with. This is the 1 liter. I am hoping this year to upgrade and get the C-Knock pouch so that I can reuse that. Because these, you can reuse these, and I do reuse them, but eventually they do blow out and get like little cracks in them and stuff. So looking to upgrade that at some point this year. Now sometimes it's kind of hard to get water with the pouch here, so an easy solution is if you order some extra pouches, you can just cut the pouch and you get yourself a little scooper. You can scoop from little water sources that you normally wouldn't be able to get water from. Just scoop it and then pour it into the pouch here, and then you're ready to use this pouch for squeezing water into your normal water bottle that you use. I stored my filter and the dirty bag squeeze pouch and the little scooper that I made. I just simply stored it in one of these little stuff sacks, so super convenient. I just threw it in the netting in the back of my pack so it was easy to grab whenever I needed water. For my cook kit, I used an extremely simple cook kit here. I stored it in this little pouch. It's just a homemade pouch. Basically, it's like insulated with Clima Shield, and then it's some kind of a ripstop, pretty thick ripstop on the outside. But yeah, I've got my long-handled spoon here. I don't even think it's titanium. I think it's aluminum, so you know, not the lightest one, but it's still pretty light. And then I've got my pot in here. It's just a really small titanium pot. I lost the cover for it at some point, so I have this little homemade cover for it. Got my little windscreen in here. And my little Fancy Feast cat can stove. So I did use an alcohol stove on this trip, so I was able to use denatured alcohol. You can also use heat, the one from the yellow bottle. I can't remember if I used denatured alcohol or heat, but either one works. And I do use a full Bic lighter because my hands don't really enjoy trying to get those itsy bitsy lighters going, so I just choose for the big huge one here. But yeah, that's the whole cook system. I simply just boil water in that thing, and then I do the boil in a bag type meals. My homemade ones, I use the freezer Ziploc quart size bags and make my own little make my own little backpacking meals with that. And then I put that in here while it's kind of rehydrating, let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes, and it's ready to go. I store my fuel in one of these little bottles here. I think this is an 8-ounce bottle. Not 100% sure. But it's got this little flip cap here. Not sure if it's showing up. So super easy to like pour into the little stove so that you're not dumping it everywhere, because as everybody knows, dumping the fuel for your alcohol stove everywhere is not gonna end up good. You might get a funny trail name, maybe fire hazard or something like that. So these are great if you are using an alcohol stove. For communication and safety, I did bring a Garmin InReach Mini. As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of these. I didn't really bring it for communication per se, as in like talking to people while I was on the trail, but I did bring it for this SOS button, which I did not have to use, thank goodness. And I did bring it for basically pressing an OK button every evening so that friends and family knew that I was safe. And usually when I go on a big trip, I'll basically let them know if they don't get one of those OK messages, say like 2 days in a row, then they should probably let somebody know. I also enjoy having this because once or twice throughout the day I can also hit that OK button and it sends a message out to friends and family with my location, and so it kind of leaves a little breadcrumb trail of where I have been. So if something happens and I go missing, there is that little breadcrumb trail of, you know, where maybe people should start looking for me. So the Garmin InReach Mini, I love this thing. I highly recommend it, and I don't really go anywhere without it anymore. For rain gear, I did bring this super bright yellow Arc'teryx rain jacket. I don't know the model of it. I've had it since 2016, so I've had it for quite a while. It is not the lightest weight rain jacket, but it is super bomber, and I love this rain jacket. So anyways, my Arc'teryx rain jacket. For rain pants, I have a pair of these really inexpensive REI rain pants. I don't know the model name, but I'm pretty short at only about 5'1", 5'2", and so I got these kids rain pants, size 14 to 16. Anyways, they cost me $50 at REI, I guess because they're children's rain pants. I know they also sell adult rain pants for I think closer to $100. But yeah, they're basically not super ultralight, but they're not the heaviest rain pants I've ever owned. And they do work really well, so I don't really like spending a ton of money on my rain pants because honestly I hardly ever wear them, and I don't feel like it's like the most important part of my kit. I'm more geared towards keeping the top of my body dry and warm, so I'd much rather have a more expensive raincoat and maybe go a little low on the rain pants. For those chilly evenings and maybe when I first got up in the morning, the chilly mornings, I did have this Patagonia Micro Puff. It is a really nice synthetic insulated jacket. I do find maybe they run a little big because it did feel like it was a little too big for me. I got the extra small, and you know, like I said, pretty short, 5'1" or 5'2", but I feel like an extra small should fit me pretty well, so I feel like maybe they're running a little big, but it did its job, and it is super lightweight. So I chose the Micro Puff with the hood because I do use a quilt for sleeping in. It's nice to have this hood, so if it's really cold out, I can sleep in this jacket and use the hood as basically like the hood of my sleeping bag. So it's super nice, and if it's super cold out and you have to hike in this thing, it was really nice to have the hood. For long underwear, for base layers, for both top and bottom, I use a 200 weight merino wool on both the top and the bottom of my base layers. The top layer for me is a Mountain Hardwear. I don't know the model, I think they discontinued it, but Mountain Hardwear merino wool. It's kind of got this waffle style fabric, and what I love is it has this hood. If you can't tell, I love having hoods on my colder weather gear. So this worked out wonderfully for me. I like the merino wool. It's just really comfortable. It doesn't start smelling after using it for a while, and just super warm and super nice, and it seems to last forever. So for the bottoms, I use Icebreaker. I love the Icebreaker brand. I've had some of their tops as well. Like I said, this is also a 200 weight merino wool. This is just kind of like their everyday long underwear, 200 weight merino wool bottom. I brought a homemade Primaloft vest. that my sister made for me. It is amazingly warm for the weight. It probably weighs between 3 and 4 ounces. Thanks, Twin, for making this for me. I also brought a Mount Rainier National Park map. Even though I have Gaia on my phone, it's always good to also carry a map with you in case your phone breaks or something like that, so I did carry a map. I also brought this homemade hip pouch kind of thing. Basically my hip clips and straps slide through here, and it gives me kind of like a little fanny pack, and I like to store my map and my phone in here. I like to have my phone in here mostly for, you know, taking pictures and stuff. But every once in a while, if you're using like a mapping app or something like that, it's good to have it close at hand. So this works awesome for that. I also sometimes would put like a little bar or something in here so that if I wanted to, I could eat a quick bar while I was still hiking. I did carry this small little electronics and spare parts kind of bag. It's a Dyneema fabric bag that I made myself. And let's see what's in here. It's got the Petzl Actic Core headlamp, so that is what I used on this trip. It's got some extra Dyneema tape just in case I get a little tear or puncture or something in my tent. My little first aid kit, just kind of a few different band-aids and bandages. Some earplugs in case I run into some folks who like to snore while they're sleeping. And my Anchor battery pack thing here. I believe this is the 10,000 milliamp one. I like it. I can charge 2 different things at once if I need to. I used it for my cell phone, and then I can also use it if I need to for the camera battery. Oh, a couple different cables just for charging things like my phone or that headlamp that I was showing you. It can also be charged by that battery. And just random Gorilla Tape, because, you know, you never know, you might need some Gorilla Tape. I also brought this Montbell trowel. Not the lightest trowel in the world, but I've had it for a long time, and I don't know, it's hard to kind of justify for myself getting a new trowel just because it's a few ounces lighter. Maybe if I didn't have a trowel or something, then I would get something lighter. In order to carry my food on the trail, I simply use this Sea to Summit 15-liter bag. It is not waterproof. I believe it's water resistant, but it is not seam sealed, so it's definitely not waterproof. But yeah, I was able to pick up food at caches about every 2 days, and so this 15-liter stuff sack was enough for me to hold food for that amount of time. I also brought my trusty Appalachian Trail hat. It's I like it. It's like a trucker hat. It's got the mesh on the back, so pretty comfortable even when it is hot. So what pack did I use to carry all this stuff? I used the ULA Ohm 2.0. I have had this pack since 2013 when I thru hiked the John Muir Trail. So I've had it for quite a while, so I am definitely used to its fit and I find it super comfortable. I did use it with a Z-Packs pack liner, a Cuban fiber pack liner, so I did not use a pack cover for it. As far as clothes that I was wearing, I do enjoy wearing the Darn Tough socks, so that is what I wore on this trip. I had 2 sets, one pair that were on my feet, and then one set kinda, you know, for a 6-day trip it's nice to swap out your socks. So I had 2 pairs. I wore the Columbia Silver Ridge light shirt, which is the one I'm wearing right now. I love it because it's a long sleeve. You can also make it, you know, into a short sleeve. It has the little loop on it that I can make it into a short sleeve, but generally I just keep it as the long sleeve so that my arms are protected from the sun, and it's super lightweight, so even with the long sleeve it doesn't feel like you're wearing a long sleeve. I love this shirt. I wore the REI Savannah Trails skirt. I love hiking and backpacking in a skirt, and this skirt is pretty awesome. It's got like an elastic waist, and you can tighten it or loosen it with this over here. But yeah, super awesome skirt. It's got some pockets, pretty deep pockets compared to some other skirts I have worn on the trail. Not super deep, but enough for me to store my chapstick and maybe a bar or something like that. On this particular trip, I wore the Lone Peak 4.0s. I have since gotten the 4.5s, but this is what I had at the time. It was a great shoe. I didn't get any blisters or anything like that. I just got the 4.5s because these were kind of starting to wear out. So anyways, yeah, Lone Peak, Ultra Lone Peaks. I've been wearing these shoes for a really long time. Just each year I get whatever the newest model is. As far as camera gear goes, I did use the Canon M50, which I can't show you right now because it's right there. I'm filming with it. But anyways, I did use the Canon M50 for most of the shots. I did also bring a GoPro Hero 8. I only used this for the last day of the trip since it was raining, but the Canon M50 takes much better film quality as far as I'm concerned, so this is just kind of like a last resort camera for if it's raining or something like that. I also kept my camera on the Peak Design clip here, the capture clip. It just clips on to the webbing on the strap of my backpack, and then I can take my camera in and out super quickly. It's like right here on the strap of my backpack, so it's easy to take the camera in and out and get those shots when I need it. I also did bring a little tripod. It's a Pedco tripod. Not my favorite tripod, but I did use it a few times, so I was glad that I had it. I did also bring a toothbrush and toothpaste. I don't really feel like I have to show you guys that, so I didn't bring it out here to show you, but toothbrush, toothpaste, that's, you know, kind of important. If you enjoyed this video or got any value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up, smash that like button, and subscribe to this channel. If you enjoy watching videos about adventures and tips and tricks about adventures, maybe some gear reviews and tips and stuff like that on your gear, please subscribe to this channel and click on that little notification bell so that you get notified each time a new one of my videos comes out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Life is a winding